What is this? When two users, first question. You on Jayla? Okay, let's resume our classes for interview questions. When two users from different countries triggers both in GST and IST format saves. Change both formats as one format as GST. Sorry, GMT. Yeah. Change both format as one format as GMT because DB people is showing some problems. Okay, this is the requirement. If you are saving, suppose you are going to get the date on a server, it will retrieve the server date. If your server is there in USA time zone, it will retrieve in, suppose if it is GMT time zone, it will retrieve in GMT. IST time zone server is going to retrieve IST time. Everything will be saved into work tables, right? While you are saving, you should not have both formats. You should have only either of the one format. They have given GMT format only. So GMT format, straightforward you will be saving, right? If the format of the date is contains IST format, then you have to change it to GMT format and save it. What is the answer for this? Yeah, what is that you have to do? OTB? What is that we need to use? How do you implement this? Exactly చెప్పవసరం లేదు. No need to say exactly. What is required to be done? Using what you can do this? What type of rule you have to use here? Did you understand the requirement? You have been given with one format of data, save it into database in another format simply. What you should do? You need to update the format. That is okay. How would you update the format of date? You have to use a function. Which function? Format date time. You have a function called format date time function is there, which you can use. It will take the parameters. What is the date you want to format and into which time zone you want to format. You pass these two parameters, it will be formatted. When user log into PRBC portal, the credentials were providing. This is the question. It's not configure. Before you save, you just do a property set and then format it and assign to property in a formatting way. Before you save. When user log into PRBC portal, the credentials you will give, right? Some is that authenticated or authorized? Amma, ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లం ఉందా మరి ఏం అడుగుతున్నారు కనబడట్లేదా మరి ముందుకు రండి హైట్ గా ఉన్నాడా మీరు ఇక్కడికి రండి అయితే ముందుకు రండి లేదా అక్కడ వేరే కొంచెం జరగండి Okay, how this works? When a user is when you log into PRBC, what happens? Will it be authenticated or authorized? Authentication or authorization? Which one will happen? So you need to it's a authentication only. Yeah? Authorization. Okay, before we proceed, what is the difference between authentication and authorization? Okay, tell me one with one live example, authorization, authentication. Any live example?
In BDM, we can not authorize person from the means if my company is not means fake company, then we are not authorized for the full access actually.
Okay, authentication means suppose if you are working in an organization, okay, at the gate entrance you will swipe your card, right, in order to enter into organization. This is authentication. So everyone in that organization will be authenticated. So after you enter, suppose you are working in IT department, you try to enter into finance department. Finance department, before you enter into finance ODC, you need to swipe your card, right? If you swipe your card at IT ODC, you will be authorized to enter IT ODC because you belong to that. You have access to information technology ODC, IT development ODC. But when you swipe the same card at finance department, finance ODC, access will be revoked. This is, you are not authorized to enter into finance ODCs. Only anyone from finance ODC have to take you in generally. So this is internally. After you enter into application, some of the components only you can access. After you enter into PRBC environment, suppose it has 5 applications. Which application you will access is the application which you are authorized to access, for which you have login ID password. You should be able to access. But everyone can log into PRBC. But out of that, 5 applications are there. 100 users can log into PRBC. After you log in, which application should be accessible to you will be decided by authorization process. Okay, this is authorization. So authorization means specific components of the application are accessible or restricted to you. Authentication means entire environment. You are allowed to enter into the environment. That is what authentication. Now, when you log into PRBC, will you be authorized or authenticated? Both should happen. Which one will happen first and which one is after? So when you log in, first authentication happens. So after authentication, next is authorization. So now tell me the process of authentication and authorization in PRBC. How it happens? Okay, if you are going to log in here, look at here. This is PRBC, right? This one. I am going to log off. Now I am going to log in. Admin @Santi password rules. Now authentication authorization both happened, or only authentication happened, or authorization? Okay, when both happened, at what places what is happened?
Admin Pega ID, that is authorization. We are entering into the administration portal. When what is the button? Then we are
Okay, if you have to answer this, you should know the architecture of any application, how that will be built. See, any applications in production, this is a top level. They are intermediate other servers also. Will be designed. The application architecture will be like this. Whenever you are going to log in into production systems, first you will be authenticated, first level. Second level is authorization level. So users are going to open their browser from their laptops or desktops, right? You will be connected to internet. You are going to open a browser. In the browser, you type URL www.suppose gmail.com. Once you type that, you will be getting a login screen. So this login screen, if you are going to log into Gmail, or you are going to log into YouTube, or you are going to log into Google Drive, all the same login screen are different login screens. Have you ever tried login? Same login screen? Different untaya? YouTube, Google Drive, Gmail, any Google product, same login screen or different login screens? it will be having same login screen. This is called single sign-on. Single sign-on screen. Single sign-on means for multiple applications of organization, we will maintain one place for sign-in process. This is called single sign-on. When you hit the URL www.someorganization.com, you will be redirected to single sign-on login screen. This login screen will not be developed in Pega. It is not required to be developed in Pega. This is the login screen for Pega applications. This is the login screen for .NET application. This is the login screen for not mainframe, sorry, a login screen for Java applications, other technology, all technology applications, the login screen will be same. That is what single sign-on access. You will be redirected to single sign-on. Single sign-on is a different server, different technology. It can be a HTML page, ASP page, JSP page, anything. So it is not at you have not yet reached to Pega server. Before you hit the actual Pega application server, you are been hitting single sign-on. At the single sign-on, you are going to enter your credentials. Once you enter credentials and click on sign in, you will be authenticated. Your username and password will be authenticated by using a server called LDAP server. Generally it is LDAP, there can be other vendors also. LDAP means lightweight directory access protocol. There is a server. So this LDAP server, LDAP directory maintains the database of all the logins of organization. Suppose if you take HDFC Bank will have single sign-on. There, it maintains the username and passwords of all HDFC Bank customers irrespective of what type of banking you are doing generally. So from that, after that is been validated at single sign-on, you are allowed to, you are authenticated to enter into organization or not. Meaning that you are part of this organization or not. Okay, you will be authenticated at LDAP. You will be, so at the LDAP level, it is going to decide based on the username, URL you type and all this, it will collect all the details based on the URL to which application server you have to be redirected. So it will redirect from LDAP to, it will redirect to the, in case of Pega application server. So you will be going to Pega application server. You land on Pega application server with the credentials. So how it is available on Pega application server is, once you come to Pega application server, it will be going to PRBC personal edition, Tomcat, web apps, PR web, web archive. In this folder, you have web.xml file. There will be a file called web.xml. So it will go to read the contents of web.xml. That is how the application server will be designed. So in the web.xml file, it will be having a defined servlet. What is the servlet here? What is the servlet name? In case of Pega, by default, the servlet name is PR servlet. If you want to update in real time, you can update the servlet names. No problem, you can update. Accordingly, we'll update the files also. So PR servlet, it is going to hit PR servlet. So on the PR servlet, what will be there? In the servlet, they are going to write authentication service name. From the PR servlet, it reads the name of the authentication service and it starts executing authentication service. You know, right, in Pega how services are available. So when you execute a service, what will be executed? Within the service, what rules will be there? Service, within a service, what are the rules that are available? Worked on soap service, right? ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి? It will have activities. So it will go to authentication service. In the authentication service, it will be having an authentication activity and timeout activity. Two activities will be there. If timeout happens, for the authentication, timeout activity will be executed. It will say a message timeout. Otherwise, authentication activity will be executed. Once authentication activity gets executed, this is the activity that will be executed. Look at here. In this, it is going to do obj open for operator profile from the operator table. Obj open from operator table. So when it is going to do obj open from the operator table, It will either retrieve a record with the operator ID or it will not retrieve the record. If it retrieves the record with operator ID, that means you are there in that PRBC server, your ID. If you are not there, if it is going to throw a message like a record not found, something, it will throw step status will fail, right? If step status fails, here what happens? If a step status fails, means your operator ID is not there in the PRBC operator table. It will jump to invalid credentials. One step is there, invalid credentials, it will return back to the screen. On the HTML, it will display. It will go back to LDAP, it will go back to your browser, will have a message, invalid credentials. Suppose successfully it has retrieved an object, I mean operator profile information. So then what else it has to look for authorization? After this happens, what it should look for authorization process? It will look for access group. Based on the access group, it will open the access group table. In the access group, what will be there? What is the application that you have access to? What are the portal that you can access? And what are the access roles that you can have? All these will be. So once you get the access group, it will identify your authorization, which application you are authorized to access. So that is what authorization process will be done here in the system. Authentication will be done at the LDAP level. The same is given here in the document. If the operator is available, is authorized to access the application, it will get the access group and application names and all. So this is the application architecture. If anyone is going to ask you what is the architecture of your application, you need to talk about all this. From starting in the browser, you give URL till the time you land onto the portal. What are all the functionalities that are going to be executed? First is authentication at LDAP. Successful authentication at LDAP will be redirected to application server. On the application server, web.xml. In the web.xml, PR servlet. PR servlet will have authentication service name. Authentication service will have authentication activity, timeout activity. Authentication activity will do obj open from operator table. In the obj open, if record is found, it will get the access group. From the access group, it will get the authorization details, which application you can access, which portal has to be loaded, and which roles are being available for your operator ID. So both will be happening. This is the process of authorization when you are authentication and authorization in real-time applications. So other than this, there will be intermediate servers. What are the intermediate servers? Web load balancing servers and all will be there. We are not required to bother about it, actually. So if you want to mention load balancing servers, after authentication successfully, you will be redirected to load balancing. Load balancing server onwards, it will redirect you to one of the application server which are available among multiple application servers. So on the application server, again same. Okay. This is clear. Okay, next is, what is the next question? This is the next question. Say about any of the three rules which do not deal with class and rule set. What are the rules available in PRBC when we configure them without class and rule set? Agent will have a rule set associated. Work basket. So generally data instances in PRBC will not be associated with any rule set versions. Operator will have a rule set. You open operator profile, so just open operator record. Operator will not have a class here. Do you have a class? Similarly, open work basket, access group. All these are data instance. It will not be associated with your classes. It may have rule set version is not there. Okay. So you have DSS entries, right? DSS entries will have versions, I think. Oh, sorry, rule set will be there. Versions will not be there. Check-in, checkout will not be available for these kind of rules. Data instances. So data instances, some of the data instances will be associated with rule set. Some will never be associated with rule set also. Without a rule set, what are the rules? Suppose you open work group. Work group is also associated with rule set, right? You open class. So class will have a rule set associated. Hmm? These will not have versions. Okay, these are the rules which are available without any associated version. But if you say the rules which are not even associated with the rule set, system, security related if you say, okay, security will also will have you system. This will have. See, no rule set associated. If you open system rule doesn't have any rule set associated, no class here. So that means our class is not associated. Okay, it should be instance of some class. So like this, you can have other types of rules which are not even associated with any of the rule sets in PRBs. Okay, you can find out. Okay, on this. System rule is not associated. Data instances without versioning will be available. Okay, that is those are data instances. Okay, we don't discuss about this. This is not required now. I'll talk about it later. If suppose I have three different classes, there is a requirement it seems. Three different classes A, B, C mapped to three different tables. A table has customer name data, B table has phone numbers data, C table has address information. Three tables to maintain the customer data, phone numbers and address information. Then finally you have to save both B and C data into a table. So you are collecting customer data into table A and phone numbers into customer can have multiple phone numbers, right? Personal phone number, business phone number, some other phone number. Addresses, permanent address, present address, like these different addresses you can have. So you have to save these three into three different tables, and a table should have all three information, correct? That is the question. So how would you implement this? So how would you implement this? NAT. No, it's not external table. See, okay, I'll add something to this question, then you'll understand. Suppose I should not write any queries, or I should not use any OBJ methods to save data to save phone numbers and addresses into table B and C. This is the question. Let me go ahead and complete like this. So you save the table A, table BC should be automatically saved. It should not have, you should not write any queries, you should not use any OBJ methods. So how to implement this? This is the hint I have given you. See, if you use database, how would you implement? You cannot implement. Using declare index. So customer data will be available. So under Viva workpage, suppose customer data will be available in customer page. Phone numbers will be available under customer page. You will be having phone numbers page list, multiple phone numbers. At the parallel to this page list, you have addresses page list. Two page list. You are going to optimize all this. Phone number you optimize, address related properties you optimize. What happens after you optimize list pages? It will be creating declare index rules. Index tables will be created. When you save into work table, index tables gets updated automatically. So your phone numbers, addresses, multiple addresses will save into address table. Phone numbers will save into phone numbers related tables, multiple entries. All this data will save in blob of table A. That is the question. So here what you should do, we need to create indexes for phone number and address page list. So when you do this, what happens? When we save customer data, automatically index tables gets updated or inserted. Okay, that is the, so you need to, it's not only learning declare index, you need to know where it should be applied, then only you can crack interviews. What is the next one? What is append? What is append and map to? Where do you see this first of all? What is the difference between append and map to in a data transform? We see this.
When we copy to page list, we can use append.
1 second. This option available in what is it? Data transform. Yeah, tell me now. Append and map to.
When we copy data page list to page list, we can use append. And append to means page list, but specific properties there. With some properties, with 10 properties there, and I want to copy keep a properties, then I use append map. Yeah.
What is the difference? Any other answers? Append and map to.
Append to will directly append the particular base. Append and map to we can customize some properties.
Okay. Append everyone knows. What is append? You will loop it. You do for loop. Append from page list 1 to page list 2. It will append. You know, right? When you are appending, suppose your page list A, page list B. Let's say page list A. So what will be there? Page list A, page list A of 1. Like this, it will be available, right? Page list A of 2, 3. You have a target page list. What is the target page list? Page list B, say suppose. Page list B. What will be there in page list B? Page list B of 1, page list B of 2, page list B of 3. Like this, we have multiple pages. Now, in a page list, if you have this page referring to some class, it should refer to, right? To which class it will refer? Suppose it is referring to A-B-C. So, should other pages refer to same class or it can refer to different classes? Other pages also refers to same class. Now, when you are appending, when you are performing appending, the target page list and source page list pages refers to same class. Should have same kind of data. Let me open data transform to give you better understanding. It will be available if you open data transform and go to help. Clearly available. Where is it? Append and map to. Okay, you need to identify this one. Different classes. Generally, if you are doing append, when you are performing append, this is the way the structure will be available. Source page list, target page list, one page list, other page list. Both pages in the page list will have same classes referred to. Now, when you come to append and map to, use this action to add the page to the target and map the properties and their values on the source to target properties. From source page to target page properties, where the source and target can be of different classes. It can have different classes. When source and target both are different classes, generally append will not work. Append will always look for source and target should be same classes. But append and map to, even though it is different classes, if you want to go ahead and embed the pages, you should be going ahead and using append and map to. Use append and map to action. Okay, it's same, right? Applies to, this can be of different, applies to class, applies to classes can be different. Okay, that's fine. This is enough. So you need to remember this. This is important. It is going to have different applies to classes for the properties. Okay, that is what, that is where you are going to use append and map to functionalities. What is this? Okay, you can directly take this. You know about append functionality, right? This is append and map to functionality. Let's go ahead with append functionality. Copy page to the target. The source and target must be of same compatible classes. I'll take from here. For example, also they have given, if for example class AB is compatible class of ABC, for append to action you can have a page of class ABC, the source, and place class AB as a target. This is also okay because it is parent is acceptable. Okay, so both should have same kind of classes, but map 2 can have different classes. And this one is map 2. What is the next one? What is the use of interaction in the tracer? Tracer, did you see any time interaction? So here if you go to tracer, you can understand from the English meaning itself. You have something called interaction. Where is it? Interaction checkbox. What do you mean by interaction? So when you usually, if you are interacting with any of the screens, you are going to, there are some actions that will be performed interacting with the UI. User interactions will be there. So during that time, suppose if I am going to set activities, I want to trace activities, right? I will select activities. When I click on the button, activity will execute, right? So activity will be executed, activity will be traced. If I choose interaction, on click to activity execution, there should be some event that should happen. Click event should talk to HTML. HTML may be JavaScript or something. HTML to that activity calling is an interaction between these two. In between what is happening, that will also be traced. Okay, in the interactions, suppose when you go to portal, you launch the portal. So here you are going to click on my work. When you click on my work, what are the rules that it will open? It will open a harness rule. In the harness, it will be having section. Section will have repeating layout or other report definition rules. That is being called. Harness is called. So if you trace harness, harness related stuff will be traced. What is it is calling under? Between harness and that menu item, navigation item, how the interaction is happening. What rules internally it is executing in order when you call a harness in navigation rule on click, between what is happening, that interactions like mouse interactions, all these interactions will be traced when you have that interaction selected. I think this will not be asked in interviews. No need. How many ways you can check out rules in Pega platform? Different ways check in, check out. One is in the rule form you have check in, check out. Another one is bulk check in, check out. Okay, rule form. One is rule form. Second one is bulk check in, check out. Bulk check in, check out. What else? Clipboard. Go to clipboard. Where is it? What is that?
My rules checkers. My rules checkers.
Controller. My
My rules checkers.
my rules.
My rules checkers.
Then aligned.
My rules checkers.
My rules checkout.
Yeah.
Where is it? It is the page of
Yeah.
under system pages, user pages. My rules. Where is it? Oh, we'll check out one of the rule. Let me check out this clipboard.
My checkout rules.
My checked out rules. It will maintain the results like this. There should be some property, right? What is it? What we should do now? ఎంతవరకు తెలుసా మీకు? So if you tell up to here, if I'm going to ask you how do you implement it, then it will be a problem.
Maybe action button. Go to action button.
What is it? Action.
Action button.
Show XML, show JSON, execute activity. That's it. It should have some property, man.
I think it's only deleting.
It's not for display. This should have my checked out rules, right? List of all the checked out rules. It is maintaining my checked out rules. It's a new learning. So here you should have some property which talks about whether this rule is checked out or not. I think it should be checked out only. I think if you delete from here, what happens? What is our data page? We'll see address copy DTF, right? Which is the page? This is address copy DTF. Let me delete this. It is deleted. I think if you delete from here, it will not have any impact. It should be deleted from table. It should have some table in the back end related to what is it? Checked out rules. My checked out rules, right? Code Pega list PXL. What is the table? Data rule summary. This table is going to maintain the records of checked out rules. If you delete the entry from this table, what should happen? That is not checked out. That is checked in. So this is a table, data rules and summary. It's better you copy this. You need to once test this one on your own. You have to test it. To delete instance from this particular table, then you should be able to understand. This is how check-in checkout process should be working. So we need to delete the entry from this data rules summary. If you are going to delete this particular entry, it will not come here. If it is not coming means it is check-in mode. Okay, it should be like that. At least you should tell up to here, and you test it once on your own. Now what is the next thing? What is the next question? Do you have any other questions? That's it, right? In this document we don't have any other questions. What else? We have another Excel document. What is it? మీరు పంపించారు కదా, ఎవరు పంపించారు? ఏంటి మీ పేరు? పులియా పులియా రామకృష్ణనా? యా, మీరు ఎప్పుడు పంపించారు? మీరు పంపించారు ఇంటర్వ్యూ క్వశ్చన్స్? రేణుక డిస్కస్ చేసామా? పులిచెర్లనా పొలిచెర్ల? మీరు హర్ష పెగా 7కి పంపించారు. ఇదేనా? Okay, we'll complete all interview questions as much as possible. Oh, this is the first question. Huh? Okay, what is the question? You have an application for managing a simple flow. You try it on your own across two categories of work. Say new business sales or renewing the sales. Your business has many areas that sell different kinds of products, which means the flavor of the work types will differ from area to area. That is, the process for both work types is basically identical. All the process for selling the products is identical in different areas. But when you are selling in area 1, flavor is different from area 2. That is the only difference. However, we can't discount that new business might one day be drastically different in renewing the business. Okay. The content of the screen between each business area does change a lot. We may also need to be able to formally restrict work access between different areas of the business. Your business has many areas that sell different kinds of same product, which means the flavor of these work types will be different from area to area. The process for both work types is basically identical. However, we can't discount that new business might one day be drastically different to renew the business. I don't understand this. Let's see. The content of the screens between each business area does change a lot. We may also need to be able to formally restrict the work access between different areas of the business. What did you understand? See, it's not reading, you need to imagine it.
So we have one product. All of the Indian markets are actually marketing it.
Okay.
And tomorrow, one of the segment of the market may be so different from other. Segment B and segment B.
Okay, you are selling a product. You are selling product in two different areas. Maybe flavor is different, but the process of selling the product in two areas is same. Identical process. Tomorrow it may change, we don't know. Okay, identical process. So the content of the screen between each areas that change a lot.
The segment strategies are different. From one segment to other segment, marketing of this product is
different. Marketing of the product is different. Okay. We may also need to be able to formally restrict the access between the areas. Different work types. Almost process is same. Simply, you are selling a loan product. Okay, when you are selling a loan product, you are going to sell in loan product. Okay, you are giving loan product to an employee of organization, ground level employee. The same loan product you will be selling for premium customer. One customer is normal customer, another one is platinum customer. So selling process to both of them is same process. I will sell you, I will sell the other people. So almost the design, everything is same. But the way you implement the contents of this product is different. When you sell to premium customer when you open, flavor means the contents of this. The product will have some discounts. Suppose normal customer is going to open the work area, he will not see something which is available to premier customers. The access is also restricted between these two customers. When premier customer is trying to buy the product, when he see the product, he will see the product along with gift coupons, along with something else. When you open the product to buy it, but selling process is same for both of you. When you open the product to buy it as a normal customer, so the way that you see the product is only product. There are no other discounts, there are no other gift coupons, nothing will be available along. This is how you need to make it available. That means here the access is restricted between both of you. The flavor of the product is different, but identically selling process is same. You are not required to bother about selling process. So they will place the item there. Once they place the item in the portal, the way that it appears to you, the flavor of the product is different. and also the access level is restricted accordingly. So that is what the implementation required. So it's not only the question that you need to understand directly, you can apply it to other aspects where you can easily imagine the things. Otherwise, you can ask the interviewer, I'm not able to understand these flavors and all. Can you make it something more realistic comparatively with insurance product or bank account product, loan product? You can ask him. If he is not able to do that, that means he doesn't know anything other than this. Okay. So make sure you should be talking to the interviewer. Be open to ask the questions to better understand the question. Okay, that should be there. Okay, when you read this, you're not able to understand. When I tell you the same thing through the product selling of insurance product or something, you're able to understand, right? So in the Amazon also this is available, right? Amazon, you can log in as a premium user, sorry, prime member. You can log in as a normal. When you log in as a normal member, you do not see that shipping part. You will see price displayed. Shipping, suppose 50 rupees something gets displayed. When you log in as a prime member, you don't see that displayed. You will see free of shipping. Because you are a member, you have different level of access. So how would you implement this now? This is the requirement. We want you to implement this. How to implement this requirement? So you are not required to tell me the functionality of requirement implementation. Tell me what rules. First of all, what rules you have to use in order to implement this. Sections, flow actions are there. You can use circumstance. This is one way. You will create sections, flow actions, or harness rules. Everything is available. One rule you create, circumstance it. Circumstance condition is based on the area. Other area equal to that one, base area is equal to this one. In future, if you change also, you can update this. Okay, circumstance is one process. Second is use visibility conditions in the same screen and make it available. In the visibility is what you are going to keep. What type of condition you are going to use. This is important. Are you going to use a when rule for the visibility condition? If so, when rule condition dependent on what? Based on what is that premium means here? You should not write it based on area. So one place if you update, you should not be able. You are not required to able to update the when rules in future also. That's how it should work. If you are going to update it with area visibility, another area I am going to add, you need to update the when rule. Open when rule, add one more area. How many areas you will be adding? So what rule exactly you need to use here for the visibility conditions if you are applying visibility? You cannot use decision and you cannot execute. You have to use privileges. So you have to add necessary privileges, add the privileges in the access roles of the operator and add it to access group. Anytime you want to update something, new user added, apply this privilege. So new area is been added, apply in the privilege. Privilege you can use in the visibility conditions. How would you use? So operator has privilege. One when rule is there. OOTP function when rule is there. Function is there. Operator has privilege function. That function if you use, you mention the name of the privilege which should be there. Privilege of prime member. Okay. So any user who log in with the privilege of prime member should be able to access it. In future, I want to modify this condition. I need to modify at privilege level. I'm not required to modify at the when condition level. It's only reading, defining somewhere else. This is how you have to implement. Okay, it's not a simple when condition based on area code. You should not do, because 10 areas are been added. Then how would you do? You will update when rule every time. That is not possible. That is not correct. So you have to maintain like this. So we have to implement this. One way it is, we have to implement it by using circumstance. So here what is the condition of the circumstance? So if you are going through circumstance, there is no possibility. You have to go with when rule only. So, but this is least preference, least preferred way of implementation. What is the best approach? So if you answer this, interviewer immediately will ask you, better than this, what is the best approach? So we need to use privileges, accordingly apply on the rules, you can say. It can be a rule form or it can be anything. So that is the implementation. This is the next question. Twenty-two.
These three doctors and maybe they were not.
And what is that?
This is too long person, maybe interviewer not asking in telephonic.
Why?
This is too long, sir.
So when you are reading out this, it will not take more than 15 to 20 seconds. It will take time to understand. They will ask no issues. They will ask even telephonic or direct interview. The business are using a system and have been doing for years. They feel that reporting is an area of the solution that isn't giving them the way they want it. They need it. The OOTP operational reports are okay for monitoring throughput, but they want to do a lot more. It's just they aren't quite sure what more is. What is the question? Okay, we'll read here and then we'll take this question. I don't know this question. We want to introduce a new screen flow process for capturing and reviewing the data at the end of the formal workflow process. However, the business don't want the necessarily complete the screen flow. Once they have begun processing it, that is 5-step screen flow, they may only want to complete step 3 straight away and the rest another time. Okay, this is the question. Okay, you have a flow, right? Today you have a flow. They have introduced a new screen flow. Okay, it's for the review purpose. Review means it's read-only format. When you review it, the data will not get saved. Okay, so we want to introduce a new screen flow into the existing process. After you complete the existing process, it will go to screen flow where user wants to review. Business wants to review this in a way that they want, if the screen flow has 5 steps, they may only want to complete step 3 straight away. Straight away they want to complete step 3. They do not want to complete any other steps. They may want to complete other steps later. What is the way of implementation? It's a manual process. It's not automated process, right? Manually you will verify, review it. What is the implementation for this? No need of coding. It's a manual process. I think it's a general screen flow. You implement. That is a 5-step screen flow. They will only want to complete step 3 straight away and the rest sometime later. You come back and open step 3 completed. You should be there at step 4. It's a default behavior of screen flow. To design a screen flow, pretty straightforward. How would you go to step 3? So use either tabbed or tree navigation screen flow. Use, why we need decision, tabbed or tree navigation screen flow. That's it. If you use either tabbed or tree navigation screen flow, can you straight away review step 3? Tabbed or tree navigation. You can click on the tab, review step 3. After that, just finish it and leave for the day. You can come back and do it later, right? So it's straight away. If you use perform screen flow, you cannot do it. So on the screen flow, suppose I'll just change the question. They should be able to review one after other. First screen, then only second screen, then only third screen, after that fourth and fifth. This is the order they should review. They should not review like step 3 directly. They should not be able to review step 3 directly. Just hang on a minute. Yeah, now the question is, they want to review the case using a screen flow. They should be able to review only this way. Step 1 should be reviewed. After that only step 2 should be reviewed. After you complete step 2, 3 should be reviewed. Then what we should do? Straight away you can use perform screen flow. If you use perform screen flow, you will not be having any navigation rules, right? But I think perform screen flow will have breadcrumbs. I'm not very much sure. So what is the option that you need to do? In the screen flow assignment, you have an option, only allow navigation back to this step. If you choose only allow navigation back to the step option, only forward will work one after other. After you complete only, you should be able to access the tab. Otherwise, you should not be able to access. So that is the, I think this question should be that one. What is that? Allow, only allow navigation back to the step. Okay, we'll see this one.
What is the
Huh? I didn't understand that question. Sure. See, this is the question. A pair. Okay, I'll copy the list. I also. A parent case has the ability for the user to generate up to 5 cases, 5 children. Those child cases can update the values on the parent case itself. Okay, directly. So you have one parent case, it has 5 child cases. These child cases should have to update the value, one property value on the parent case. That is the requirement. Suppose I will tell you, better understanding. So you have a parent case. The parent case is onboarding. This is parent case. So this parent case has a property. What is the property? It's not onboarding, it's recruitment. Let's say recruitment. Recruitment is the case, parent case. Total open positions. Okay, this is the property, total open positions. So you will run this parent case. When you run this parent case, it will span 3 different cases. Let's say in the recruitment you have Pega recruitment, and you have .NET recruitment, and you have, let's say, Java recruitment. So when you are going to run this, 3 cases it will open. These 3, each case you will complete. It will go to Pega recruitment department, Java recruitment department, .NET. So they are going to open each of their case. They will post the number of total positions. So here they will be having a property total Pega positions is equal to, they have entered suppose 5. So when .NET people they have opened total number of total, there is a property .NET positions equal to suppose 9. When Java resources they have opened it, I mean Java team. So total number of open positions for them Java, total Java positions is equal to, let's say, 4. This is what they have entered. Once all these people like Pega resources, when they update total Pega positions equal to 5, the total open positions here should be 5. It should update the parent case. When these people say 9, what are the total open positions? So let me give you this way: 5 plus 9 plus 4. Total value should be there. Okay, 18. This is the requirement. Okay, how to decrease the value we'll see later. Not required. Now the requirement is you will be creating a case. Once you create the case, it will create 3 sub cases. Sub cases will be routed to 3 different departments. Every department is going to enter the number of open positions in their department. Each department is entering a number of open positions. It should update the total number of positions in the parent case, open positions. So if you are filling this, total position should be decreased. That is a different case. Only talk about up to here. That is the meaning of question. Parent case has 5 different child. Child case should update the values in the parent case. This is the requirement. How do you implement? This is related to case management. What is this application? SunTrust. Huh? What is the solution for this? How to update this? So if you open case type rule, I mean case designer. From case designer, huh? Where is it? Show me. Settings I went to. What is there? Okay. Here also you can open. Okay, better don't do it here. Hang on. Let me show you through. You should understand this. Is this case type rule? What I have opened now. Is this case type rule? What is this one? This is case designer. It is not case type rule. How would I open the case type rule? Okay, tell me what is the name of the case type rule? Insurance is not case type rule name. Insurance is the class name, right? It's not case type name. What is the name of the case type? PY default. Correct. So if you go ahead here and open this rule. If you open the rule, now it will open the case type rule. Case type rule, what is the name? ID is the name, that is description. What you see on the screen is description. That is the name of the class. PY default is the case type rule. When you add a case type, it will internally create a case type rule through the designer when you are doing. So the case type rule name is PY default. You can come here, you have calculations tab. When you go to calculations tab, here you can add the calculations. Okay, let's say here you can do, or you can do in the settings tab, add a calculation. You can choose case types, verification, and same should be available here, but this drop down is not working. Look at here. Now when you add a calculation, calculated property, let me take any property in the parent case, is equal to sum of, only sum is available, no average, nothing like that. Sum of verification case, another property. Add another property in the another child case, second child case, some other property. Don't bother about what property I am giving here. Let's say property 1 and manager approval, let's say property 2, some other property. So now this is going to work like this. Whenever you are going to add these property values, okay, then it is going to calculate the target property. This target property is from which class? Parent, I mean case type rule, I mean parent case, target property. These properties related to child cases. So this is the way you will be calculating a property value which is available in the parent case through the calculation, through the values of child cases. So for that you need to use, you cannot use that. We need to use calculations tab. In which rule? Whether this calculation tab is available in child cases or parent cases. Calculations tab of parent case type rule. This is the optimum solution. So you can say, you can use a create a declare expression also, right? Create a declare expression, target property, and the other properties are. So if you are going to create a declare expression, in which class you will create declare expression? Child class or parent class? If you are creating in child class, we have 5 children, right? In which child class you are going to create it? You create in parent class. How would you access the child class properties? You have to define pages. Parent to child is possible. Within the parent, can you access child class properties? Alla possible. Reverse step. It is not possible. Child to parent is not possible. If you are in child, you can use one parent, but you cannot use siblings. If you are in parent, if you want to use child, you need page references to access the property. You need to define a page for the child. This and all is difficult to implement. Instead of this, the easiest way given is using calculation tab and add it. It will work like a declarative part only. Okay, internally. So there is no need of mentioning all this stuff. Okay, pages and all. Directly, whenever you update those properties, it will update the parent class property values. This is also like a declarative, but you are not going to take the burden of creating pages and referring the properties from the pages, where to create, whether should I create it in a child 1, child 2, child 3 or parent class, how to access child class property. This and all burden is not there. It is an automated version of doing the same. Okay. I think this is related to this question. Huh? I don't know. Questions are not organized. What options are there in Pega help? Okay, we want to conditionally display another screen in the screen flow between screen 3 and 5 based on answer question screen 2. Okay, what is the answer for this? There are some of the questions not given clearly. We want to conditionally display a screen. This one, huh? Okay, 3A, 3B. Yeah? This is related to 2A, 2B related to this one. How would we achieve this? And also there is another requirement. We would like to conditionally display a screen in a screen flow between the screen 3 and 5 based on the okay, that's it. How do you display this? One assignment you need to conditionally display in the screen flow between assignment 3 and 5. 4 should be conditionally displayed. No need of privilege. So directly decision shape you can use. Configure decision when rule, or you can go ahead with 4. But it's possible proceed to shape 4th assignment, otherwise directly to 5th assignment. It's pretty straightforward and easy. I will talk about this document later. There are many questions, I think. Okay, we'll see this document later. Let me understand all this first. Because questions we are not able to understand. Generic Pega design and implementation questions. If you are asked to take lead, okay, these are general questions, right? Okay, we'll see this one also. It should be good. Generic questions. How will you manage and what are the considerations of the data propagation challenge? What are the considerations in data propagation? Let's see this question. What is the question? 24, right? How will you manage and what are the considerations of data propagation, right? Data propagation, you know, right? What is data propagation? Where would you do this data propagation? You are going to pass information from parent to child. This data propagation you will configure on parent case type or child case type. Parent case type you can directly add properties or you can call a data transform. That is okay. This is pretty straightforward. What are the considerations or challenges during the data propagation? What consideration should be there? What is, yeah, what considerations you have to make when you are going ahead with data propagation? So you need to generally think about all these things and answer it. Chapandi. What could be the first one? there should not be any declarative properties. Declarative, let's say especially target properties used in this. Correct or not? So you should not have any of the declarative target properties involved in this data propagation property sets. If it is there, you show compilation errors. You should not use declarative target properties in the data propagation part. What are the other things? Make sure by the time child is instantiated, the respective source properties must have values assigned. What happens if there are no values? Sometimes you may get null pointer exceptions. Assigning blank values or something you are going to do, some of the properties may not accept those values. There it will fail. Compatibility also should match. You are assigning integer property to integer. So text property, if you try to assign to integer and configure that in the data propagation, then it will throw error messages. So compatibility mismatch. This kind of things you need to bother about when you are doing data propagation. Mainly the declarative target properties should not be there in the data propagation. While propagation itself, if you are going to execute declare expression, if that is not required, then there will be a problem. Okay, you need to make sure declarative target properties are not being used here in the data propagations. You can point out something more like this and then you can give the answer. If you are asked to lead a Pega upgrade, will the client not knowing where to start? See, if you are being asked to lead a Pega upgrade process with a client do not know anything about this upgrade, where to start, how to start, how would you start this one? So are they asking questions like this? Interviews? They're not asking, right? So no need. So if you want to guide the client, you need to start guiding from the server setup itself. First, web admin team should work on setting up the servers, application servers, web servers, everything should be ready. And then DBS, database backup should be taken and then installed on the target servers. That is what connections, JNDA connections and all, you should work accordingly. You need to guide them from the database side or server side. First, you can guide them to have database server setup and then application server setups and then JNDA connections and all should be made. I think this is not required. You have sent another email to me. Harsha Pega 1 or 7? Which one? This one. So let's see these questions now. 25th. So give me some valid recent questions. Tire, bus, seat. How would we create these classes? Bus, seat and tire. How to create these classes? First you will create which property? What type of property it is? Bus is a page, let's say. Under this page you have tire. So tire is what type of property it is? List property. It can have 4 tires or 6 tires or 12 tires, depends. Okay, each tire information you will hold on. Now seats. Seats is also list type. That's it. So bus will have bus information. Under bus you have tires and seats parallel. This is clear. So if you are given tire, bus, seat and passengers, then so leave about this. Let's say, let's put here passenger, right? We will add that passenger, not remove existing. Now tell me where to fit this. ఎక్కడ fit చేయాలి? After seats or within seats? Within a seats, you should have passengers is what type? It should be list. A seat can have more than one passenger. Okay, driver seat should not be included. That should be a separate page. Okay, so why we provide access group in node level data? I think we have discussed this, right? Yesterday. We will discuss all these privileges at a time at the end. So we have two page lists. Need to move the data from one page list to other page list based on some condition. So this is the requirement. Page list A, page list B. You need to append page list A pages to page list B pages, or vice versa. But condition should be there. So how do you implement this? You can use activity or you can use data transform. If you are using activity, you can use page copy method. Data transform append to. Condition where to write? In the activity, it is a precondition. Okay, if condition is true, continue. False, exit iteration. Skip iteration, right? It will skip the iteration or exit iteration is there. It will go to next iteration. The same way you have in data transform also you have to do. You have to verify the condition. Condition satisfied pages will be appended. So suppose if it is activity, page copy. Okay, first we need to do what? Precondition and then loop, then page copy. Data transform, same thing. Condition, we should have to loop and then append to. Okay, this is what we should do. Need to copy data from at one stage in child to parent. So how would you do this? Suppose you are working on a child case. At certain point of time, you want to copy the data from child case into parent case. How would you implement this? You should know case management basics. You are on child case, right? When you are on child case data will be available on child case PO work page. If you want to update this data to parent case, what you should do? You have to you need to update this data to PY work cover. Copy from PY work page of child case to into PY work cover of parent case. Then when parent case is being worked on, this will be committed. Locking will be acquired when you open the child. Parent will be automatically acquired with lock. If this is not the case, see by default, you know about locking features in Pega. What is locking feature in Pega? Default locking and optimistic locking. What is default locking? Whenever a requester is going to open a case, immediately PRPC acquires a lock. Then after you complete the action, lock will be released. Till the time you are working on it, lock will be there. Correct? What is optimistic locking? Optimistic locking. So multiple requesters can open the case at a time and multiple people can work on it. Exactly when the lock will be acquired? Whenever you perform an action on the case, lock will be acquired. That is the default behavior. That is the optimistic locking. After action is completed, lock will be released. Other person, if he tries to work on it, will display message someone else has modified it, refresh it. You will be able to refresh it. If it button default available. So when you open it, in case of case management, how locking works? Suppose parent case has default locking. It has 4 children. Can these 4 children have one child default locking, one child optimistic locking, child 3 default, child 4 optimistic? Is it possible? So I have 5 cases. One is parent and 4 are child. Parent case uses optimistic lock. Let me add this question. I have 5 cases. One is parent, remaining are children. Okay, remaining are children. My parent has default locking or optimistic locking, whatever it is. Default or optimistic locking configured. So now children. In the children, child 1 default. Okay, let's say here default only, not optimistic, default. Child 1 default, child 2 optimistic, and so on. Child 3 default, child 4 optimistic. First of all, can I configure this way? My application, can I configure this way? If I can configure, how? If I cannot configure, why this is not possible? Oh, talk about this one. Can we configure this or we cannot configure? So do you have an option to choose locking mechanism for a child cases? You don't have? Then what is there? So if you open parent case, you can choose locking default optimistic, right? Similarly, you open child case, you do not see any option to select what type of locking. Then what type of locking is applicable to child? So there is one line written, locking inherited from parent case, meaning that whatever the parent follows, child should have the same locking mechanism, all children. This is default behavior. Now, how the locking works is, whenever you open child case, PRPC acquires a lock on parent also, automatically. This is default behavior. If I requester 1 opens child 1, parent will be acquired with a lock on requester 1 name. So this is the situation. Consider this situation. If this is the situation, child 1, requester 1 is working. Now requester 2 has come and trying to work on child 2. Is it possible or it is not possible? It is not possible. Why it is not possible? When you open child 2, defaultly what it is going to do, it will acquire a lock on, try to acquire lock on parent also. But already parent is acquired lock by requester 1. So this is not possible. It will revoke the access locking. If I have to make this possible, child 1 should be worked on by requester 1. At the same time, child 2 should be worked on by requester 2. Child 3 should be worked on by requester 3. If I have to make this possible, how would I make it? This is what parallel processing, right? Optimistic locking also will not work. How it will work? Suppose if I have a parent case, optimistic locking is implemented. Suppose. So same. Children also will have optimistic locking. Requester 1 has opened child 1. Requester 2 has opened child 2. Able to open or not? When the lock will be acquired? Whenever you perform a child case, some action, lock will be acquired on child as well as parent, correct? So I have performed an action of completing child 1 assignment. At the same moment, milliseconds also same, requester 2 also submitted child 2. What happens? Is it acceptable? It will not accept because parent is acquired with a lock when you perform this. When you are performing child 2, parent cannot acquire a lock. So this will fail your operation. So optimistic locking is not the solution. What is the checkbox? See, on the child case type rules, you have a checkbox. Do not lock parent when the child is open. If you select the checkbox, child independently will have a lock. It will not lock the parent. So multiple people can have independent locks on the independent child. It will never lock parent. Someone else can work on parent simultaneously. On child case type, do not lock parent when the child is open. On each child case type rule, if you open, you see that option. Okay, now based on this fact, tell me, Need to copy the data from data at one stage in child to parent. How would you implement this? I am working on child case 1. I want to update the data from child case 1 to parent case. Consider default options. Considering default options, I can copy the data from child to parent, from PY work page of child to PY work cover page. That means you are updating to parent. Suppose consider the fact child acts independently in the locking, meaning that it will not lock the parent when you open child. This is clear. Now what is the solution? So if you copy the data from PY work page to PY work cover, will that work? If that works, how it works? If that is not going to work, why it will not work? That is for closing. I am talking about copying data. I want to copy the data from child into parent, where child when you open, it will not acquire lock on parent. If you directly simply copy from suppose PY work page to PY work cover, on the parent case, someone is going to open the parent case, will that data be available? Will it be available or it will not be available? It will not be available. So then what we should do? So when you are on child case, you need to do obj open by handle of parent case, open the parent case, acquire lock on it, and then update the data onto parent case, and then save it into do a obj save. Then only the new data will be available. So based on the way you configure locking, you need to go ahead with implementation. In case where defaultly it is following locking, you open child, parent is acquired with lock, right? You update the data from PY work page to PY work cover, complete the child, commit will happen, commit will also happen to other case. No problem. Data will be committed. But in case independently locking is there, if you perform child, if you are going to work on child, it will not do anything in the parent. So you must have to go ahead and open the parent case, update the data, save the data back to parent case. So this and all, if you have to answer, you should know basics of how locking works. Without knowing that, you cannot answer these questions. That is where you face the difficulty in interviews, because you are lacking with basics. These are not advanced topics, these are not advanced. Case management is basics, it's not advanced. So what is the next question? We will complete these questions in next few minutes. Need to change from one stage to stage 5. After that again come back to stage 1. You have to move to stage 5. After you complete stage 5, come back to stage 1. So will the change stage works in forward direction? Will it work in backward direction also? So you can use change stage both the places. Conditionally you change the stage 1 to 5, 5 to 1, different configuration you have to do. Okay, it is pretty straightforward. It will work for forward and backward directions. We have one parent and two children. Two children. When the lock is there, lock on parent case, then what is the functionality? Okay, we have one parent and two children. When the lock is there, I mean when the parent case is locked, what is the functionality? Means how the children behaves. Suppose you have a parent case, two children, default mechanism is followed. You open parent case. Can anyone work on child case? I have opened parent case, requester 1, requester 2, requester 3 have come. They tried to open children. Can they work on children? If it is following default locking mechanism, it will not work. Suppose it is following like do not lock parent when child is open. In that case, I open parent case, someone else can come and open child case, someone else can open other child case and work on it. Okay. When see here, default locking, it doesn't mean default locking mechanism. When what we should say is okay, it's not default, we can say. Okay, we have to say this way, with default options for locking, When parent is open, parent is open by requester 1, no one else can work on children. No one else can work on children because when they open, they cannot acquire lock on parent. Can the same person work on children? I have opened it, I have acquired lock on parent. Can the same person work on child? It is possible. So let's go ahead now. With the option, what is the option? Do not lock parent when child is open. Selected on child cases. Child cases. When parent is being worked on by, when parent case is being worked on by requester 1, other requesters can work on children. That is possible. Okay. So these are the situations or scenarios we need to consider. What is the next question? We have one parent and two children. When there is no lock, is there lock on parent case? Then what is the functionality? No, it's not same question. It's a different question. What is the question top? When lock is there, lock on parent case. When parent case is acquired with lock, that is the previous question. This one, when we have one parent and two children, when there is no lock, and there is lock on parent case, then what is the function? I think this is what they are talking about, the option. Do not lock parent by something. We can ignore this because two ways we have answered above question. What are the technical challenges you face with your project? We'll just go at these questions, generic questions later. How many types of subflow calling shapes are there? How many types are there to call subflows or whatever it is? You have how many flow shapes are there to call subflows? Subprocess, ఇంకా split join, split for each. Spin off ante flow shape. Spin off is also subprocess shape option, right? So we have subprocess shapes. It is pretty straightforward. So need to update the cases after created at 5 p.m. So we have a scenario given. For that scenario, we need to write an activity. What is the activity? We need to write an activity to update the status of all the work objects which are created after 5 o'clock. Tell me the steps to implement this. What is the first step? First is browse. What is the where condition? Browse with condition. What is the condition? Px create date time. Date time lo day to time untadi. 5 pm ela telustundi meeku. Px create date time. Current date time ela ayindi. Okay, from px create date time, you need to retrieve only time part. 5 pm or only. So you need to go ahead with the functions to retrieve the data of px create date time, only time. That you need to compare with the system time. System date time you will get the, okay, otherwise no need. If the time is greater than 5 pm something they are telling, right? You can go ahead and write the where condition based on only time stamp of the create date time you need. That time stamp is greater than 5 pm, meaning that it will give all the cases created so far which are created after 5 o'clock any day. But if it is only one day, today after 5 pm. So you need to also consider date as well as time. You need to compare with date as well as time. Okay. So you need to do obj browse. Okay. After browse, you will get the records. After that, so you have to loop obj open or open by handle. Obj open by handle, and then within the loop property set, within the loop only, within the loop obj open my handle property set, and then obj save. So after you come out of this, finally commit with error handling, commit with error handling. పాస్ చేశాను ఇందాక, అయితే ఇవన్నీ లేవుగా.